Good day. I bid you a warm welcome to my tour around the building now known as the Hawthorn. I departed your world the year of our Lord 1403, but I return for a short while every year. Pray do not be alarmed. We may see many spirits on our tour. We take different forms, but are of no threat to you. I am honoured to be your guide, and share with you what I know, what I have seen. And not all that I tell you may be found in the history books. We will begin at the east entrance. Please, tarry a while if you will. Maybe sit. There are 3 benches before the Hugh Aston building where you may rest. I met him a few months past. Yes, Hugh Aston. He had a house not far from here, Hangman's Lane as we knew it then. His spirit comes more often to Leicester since the building that bears his name was complete. I must say he is vexed by it. Not a man for green, it seems. That is his music you heard before my words began. It is from the 16th century. He was organist and choir master at the church I will soon tell you of. I sometimes see him with Jimmy, there in the cafe behind us, composing, I am sure of it. Who? Oh, forgive me. You know of Jimi Hendrix? He performed here in the Grand Hall, and a Mr. Bowie, I recall. But that gentleman has not yet left your world, of course. I forget my manners. My name is Catherine Swynford. You may know of me already. Few pictures remain, so you have only my word when I tell you I was once a great beauty, a fine lady of court. I was a commoner, yet I was accepted into England's most magnificent family, the House of Lancaster. You may know me as a mistress of John of Gaunt. Yes, our children were born bastards, but, reader, I married him. I became the wife of a Plantagenet, the mother of the Tudors, and I died a duchess. Did you see, over there, pecking at that pastry? That is King Edward III. And if you see a magpie here on the grass, full of himself, it may be my brother-in-law, the Black Prince. You may laugh, but I do not jest. Enough of this. You are here to learn of the building, the Hawthorn. Aye, 'tis now a place of learning, but it has not always been so. What is that you say? No. I doubt we will meet the 6th Earl of Leicester on our tour. He is well known in this city, but I fear de Montfort's spirit will not return. The shame. Let us continue. The building you see now, I saw its construction, the year of our Lord 1897, and this east wing in front was the first to be built. The locals, they said it was built on beer and prostitution. Now that does not appear in the university prospectus, but it is what everyone desires to learn of. Have patience, I shall come to that. The building you see now was not the beginning. No, we must go back 658 years, and not long after my birth. My husband, John, the 2nd Duke of Lancaster, he finished the work of Henry, 4th Earl of Leicester and the 1st Duke of Lancaster. He founded a church on this site, the Church of the Annunciation of Our Lady of the New Work. It has become the Newark. You know how language can be. I still recall my first visit to worship, to pray under the high arches, tapestries hung from the wooden beams, the jewelled light through the windows. A church of kings. There was talk it would become Leicester's cathedral, but the Reformation put an end to that. I stood at the castle walls and watched as they took our beautiful church apart, piece by piece. By 1600 it had gone. Hugh had joined me in my world by that time. How we both wept for Our Lady. Let us not dwell on destruction. Come, walk with me towards the grand entrance, and then we will turn to the right, past the maple tree towards a plaque. While we walk, I will tell you of a mystery. The first Duke was rewarded for his success in battle by the King of France, no less. You will not believe this, but the king gave him a thorn from the crown of sorrows, taken from the head of our Lord at his crucifixion. I agree, it is incredible to believe, but would you argue with a king? Sadly, the thorn is now lost, somewhere here on this site amongst the bones of the nobles, buried forever when the church was destroyed. And now here is the plaque to the Whipping Toms. Do you see? Many have passed it by, yet would have thought twice of doing so had they lived here in my time. Beware Shrove Tuesday, as you will see. You think it barbaric? 'Tis nothing. A harmless sport, yet you people with your safety and your health regulations, it is no more. You do not know of a truly hard life, the winter wind through a stone castle, to wake with ice on your coverlet, to wash in the water of the Soar. We ate only the food we killed or grew ourselves. Our herbs did not always overcome the might of the maladies of our time. Yes, I became a lady of court, had good fortune, but every one of us lived and died by the seasons. But it was not all boils and black death. Look across the road. Do you see the archway and the spire? That is the turret gateway of the castle, and another fine church, the Church of St. Mary de Castro. My sister Philippa was married there. I threaded spring flowers through her golden hair like a crown. For a March day there was a fair crowd gathered, but her betrothed, Geoffrey, he was a loyal and popular servant at court. Such a celebration. Dates brought back from the last crusade, roast goose, pickled fish, and oysters steamed in almond milk. And mead, of course. Oh, the parties we would have at the castle, John and I. Such was his position, no one refused our hospitality, but he was no tyrant. We loved life, and we knew such happiness there. You may know of my brother-in-law. He spends his time in London, strutting around the abbey, admiring his tomb. Of old the bard who struck the noblest strains, great Geoffrey Chaucer now this tomb retains. But once I saw them, just there, on the curved white wall by the cafe, Geoffrey and William, lost in conversation. Before I could call their names, they left, heading down South Gates to the Shakespeare's Head, I do not doubt, comparing their couplets for eternity. And in heaven's name the poet laureate is now a woman! How they wail! Now, let us turn left, here into the road of the Newark. See, another plaque to tell of the church and the thorn. If there is a plaque, then it must be true, n'est-ce pas? We will walk just a few steps to the north entrance. Are the doors closed today? If that is so, you will see all 4 copper panels on the heavy doors. I like to study their shapes, some familiar to me, some from your lives. They show how the building is now used, the students with their paint and potions and instruments. Let us continue. Look up to your left. Do you see the lovers, Venus and Adonis? I often wonder, why them? Why on this wall? maybe now is the moment to tell you of another chapter in the history of the Hawthorn. This is where the asylum stood in the Victorian age, the refuge and night shelter for fallen women, and on this site the female asylum and orphanage. Those poor girls. The best they could hope for was a life of cleaning and carrying, hands scrubbed raw. I was lucky. I trained for servitude, but I married my master. Before we leave the Newark, one last look back. Do you see the magazine? It is empty now, but it was once the home of tigers. No, do not fear, not those tigers. That was the name of the Leicestershire regiment. Their barracks adjoined the magazine until not long after the Second World War. That building you see? That was the gateway to Our Lady. It survived the desecration of the Reformation, the great siege of Leicester in the Civil War, the horror of the bypass. Listen, and you will hear the echoes of hooves, the horses carrying soldiers from centuries gone by as they came to your city. King Charles I passed through, proud and vain. Cromwell followed. And I watched the young men of the city drill and muster before they left for the Boer, Ypres, Dunkirk. But let us continue. Turn left, here into the road now called the Gateway. So many gateways. I find this the plain side of the building, but within stands the most beautiful sight, one I may share with you across the many years that separate us. This, the west entrance, is the doorway to the past, to my beginning. Is it open today? Yes? Pray, go through. There are 2 sets of doors, and you will see them to your left. Not the cables and computers of your world, but 2 fine arches from Our Lady. All that is left. But what secrets could they tell? Did they watch over our last Plantagenet, King Richard III? He spent his last night alive not far from here, at the Blue Boar Inn, and there he hid gold. Of course he did not return to retrieve it, but many tried since his death. One thief and an innocent servant girl hanged for their troubles, a sorry tale. And what of King Richard? Well, he went to Bosworth Field, and the rest, as they say, well, I will not say. I will tell you the words you will find at his plaque in Castle Park nearby. King Richard, piteously slain, fighting manfully in the thickest press of his enemies. They brought back his broken body, naked, and he lay in state for 2 days and 2 nights, where you stand now. And then they hung him. The good monks at Greyfriars cared for him, gave him a proper burial, yet still the people could not let him be. I was not here the day this happened, but I heard they dug him from his rest, threw his body to the saw, and used his coffin as a horse trough. And that is how the people showed respect to their kings in those times. And now my time with you must come to an end. If I have one hope as you go about your business now, it is that you look up and around you, wherever you are. Listen, look for the spirits of the past. You will be surprised what they may tell you. I knew this building as a fine church, a place of prayer and worship, but it has been used for many things. There is a saying, Panta Rei. I believe you say the only thing constant is change. The Hawthorn has seen many changes over the centuries. yet always it is a place where those within its walls have been cared for. Farewell, and anon. I will look out for you.